Over the last 2 years, you've seen us travelling all over Europe and the UK living the van life. Now, we all know that full-time travel doesn't come cheap, so it begs the question, and you guys ask us quite often, how on earth are we paying for all this? Good morning and welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about money. Well, kind of. We're talking about how we earn money to fund our lifestyle. Emily's very nervous about talking about her job, which is by far the biggest question that we get asked is, what does Emily do?
Not a lot.
So I will be asking her questions and hopefully it's going to satisfy some of the questions you've got about what we do in the van. Now, I just want to make clear right at the start, there's lots of different ways to do van life. So you can either sell all your possessions in your home and keep your outgoings real small and do it that way. You may be approaching retirement and have a pension or a house to sell and do it that way. We're just going to be talking about how we've done it and how we continue to fund it. So we still have a house, but we want to travel full time. So we need quite a lot of money coming in to be able to continuously travel. So we're just going to talk about how we've got to where we are, yeah?
Yes, let's begin.
We are literally doing this on Emily's lunch break, so I have got a notepad of notes, so it's going to be a bit rough and off the cuff, but hopefully that will give you the most honest information anyway.
Okay, I'm ready for my interview.
You ready for your interview? So, what do you do for a living?
I am an operations and project manager. So that means that I manage and arrange events for my company. I deal with clients on a daily basis. I make sure my guys out on site are okay and where they need to be. My drivers are where they need to be and when. I liaise with the accounts and warehouse, making sure stock and everything has all been sorted. Just general daily operations of the business.
And basically, Emily sits in here on the phone, taking the abuse and then doing her best to dish out as much of it as you can.
This is true, yeah. Delegation is key.
Emily's job is quite, what do you call it, reactive?
Yes, it is, yeah. I do my planning for the whole year, and when new jobs start coming in and booking, I will plan them well in advance. I've got the whole year's planned and done, but my job is very reactive. I have to react to the client's needs, I have to react to weather, to things that break, people not turning up, and yeah, it's very, very reactive.
And you do have set hours, don't you, which are?
I work 8 till 12 and then 4 till 5 days a week. These are hours that I actually chose myself because it works best for what I do, and we have trialled a few different hours while we was away and stuff, and this seems to work best because I'm there first thing in the morning for anything that happens out on site, and I'm there last thing of the evening before everybody goes home to make any changes for the following day.
So although it is set hours, I can attest to the fact that quite often, 9 times out of 10, you do bits in and around those hours. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because you do that you've been able to take a traditionally office-based role mobile.
Yeah, I absolutely love my job and I love doing it. So Louisa's always having a go at me and be like, you've finished work now, you've finished work. But if there's something that my guys need, I always want to deal with it and sort it out for them.
And Emily does get asked a lot how she's managed to convince her boss to be so generous and let her take this on the road. And I think that's probably it. You're just willing to do what's needed, right?
Yeah, that is true. I would like to think that I go above and beyond what is expected of me. And I think that is, yeah, like you say, that comes through with him being so flexible with what I do. And I can go to them and say, can I change my hours this day? Or can I do that? Yeah, they are just very flexible because I'm flexible as well, and they know that I will cover anybody if they're away on holiday and things like that.
So basically, if you have a static office-based job and you're looking to take that on the road, would you advise that before they approach their boss, they perhaps make themselves indispensable first and then go, well, I'm going to leave?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's indispensable because I am a believer that people can be replaced. But I do believe that if you make yourself valuable to the business, then your boss or manager, owner is more likely to be a little bit flexible with you. And I was flexible as well. So there was a couple of things that he wanted in return to start off with, like a touch day in the office and to come back for certain events, which maybe some of you would have seen that I flew back on our last trip abroad, because that was something that I'd agreed to. So I think it's about being flexible both ways.
Yeah, and we do try that in the marriage, and I've successfully done that, which is why you can't get rid of me.
I
because
try
I am
all the
valuable.
Time. All of the time.
So hopefully that's answered your questions about what Emily does. I know that's the biggest, like, you have this mystical job that no one knows what it is, but that's basically what she does. She just barks orders at various different departments all day.
Yeah, on the phone all of the time, at people, at clients. Yeah.
Yep, and we will discuss the practicalities and the difficulties of doing all that online on the phone a little bit later in the video. But I'm going to tell you what I do. Most of you already know what I do, but as we've been out and about and at different shows and stuff this year and met people, people are constantly asking, yeah, we know Emily's got a job, but what do you do? So I don't felch off Emily.
I don't know either.
I don't felch off you 100% of the time. I make my sole income from the YouTube videos and our social media presence. And I won't go into too much detail about how that works because we have done a video about all of that in the past, but basically...
Have we?
Yeah.
Where was I?
You was in the video.
Oh!
About how much money we earn from YouTube.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes, I remember.
So there is a video, I'll leave a link to that in the description. But basically I make all of my money from brand deals, ads, affiliates. There are other ways you can do that. Patreon, we don't do that, and merch and stuff. So you can make a decent living from having a relatively, I don't think we have a massive channel. We've got just a
okay channel.
A medium-sized channel for the UK, and yeah, we do make a decent living off that. Plus Emily is also involved in that as well.
I feel that I do a lot for that. So not only am I doing the other job and this job, I work so hard.
She does work very, very hard. It's a team effort. It's a team effort. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's a team effort. Right, so we'll just very quickly go through the pros and cons of working on the road, because on social media and probably what you've seen in even our videos, it all looks very glamorous and amazing and we're constantly travelling, but it can be very stressful and there are quite a few challenges we have to overcome. So we'll quickly list the best pros, and I am going to refer to my notes. So the big obvious one is travel and the freedom to travel.
Oh, you can't beat it, can you?
The next one is flexibility. So we can kind of, because Emily's got herself in a position with her job that she can kind of fit it around everything, and then obviously with social media, being self-employed, we've got the flexibility to be able to go where we want and change plans and navigate around COVID and all those things. So flexibility.
Yeah, because if you've seen our videos, we cannot stick to a plan.
No. Plans, just don't even bother. Saving money. So this one might be interesting. We actually spend far less money when we're travelling than what we do when we're working at home. And that is because Amazon deliveries are a pain in the arse.
All of the time. She's always on Amazon. I'm going to need to change like the password, honestly.
So yeah, we just spend less money when we're on the road. And our kind of travel, we like hiking and exploring and free things. And because we've got the dog and the cat, it's difficult for us to do all the touristy stuff.
Yeah,
anyway.
and the biggest thing that we have to spend is Louise and her snacks.
My snack bill is just unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
Another massive pro for me in particular is I completely now avoid office politics, shall we call it. So I don't have that stress of, in fact, stress in general of the commute and going in every day, and is so-and-so going to be in this mood, and oh, I've made that mistake, and so-and-so's lazy and I don't know how to do it. So all that stress that comes with going into a physical job, pretty much gone.
Although she does get a little bit when she's listening to me on the phone, so...
I do have to listen to Emily on the phone a lot. The biggest pro for us is the fact that we can travel with our pets. So full-time travel is something we've always wanted to do, but because we've had static jobs and stuff like that, the whole reason we built the van was so we could travel with our pets. So being able to work on the road means they come everywhere with us.
And that is definitely 100% the best feeling ever, just having them there.
And they love it as well.
Oh God, yeah, it's just so cute.
Right, cons. A big con for me being social media, whatever I do, is being self-employed. So you don't have holidays, sick pay, all those kinds of things are gone. So taking a week off is a massive... Well, if you don't work for a week, you don't really earn for a week. So there's the self-employed aspect of it. That would apply whether you're in a van or not. But yeah, there is that.
The biggest one for me is not being able to appreciate your surroundings, because I do set hours. So we rock up somewhere and it's absolutely glorious outside. We're by a beach or we're in the mountains, and I'm like, I'll just log on then. Bye, Louise. And Dora over there goes out of her camera.
Yeah, because you can guarantee that it's lovely and sunny whilst Emily's working, and it will start raining the minute she finishes. So
Standard. But you get used to it, and the pros outweigh it.
Yeah, and although it's a con, it's a pretty good con, right?
Yeah.
My view's too nice. Like, what are you whinging about?
Nice, it's true.
It's not really a con, is it? I've parked somewhere too pretty today.
Just move on to the next one.
I can't, the bin men are here, so it's going to get very noisy. The next con, even though I get to be my own boss and kind of do what I want and all that sort of thing, I do miss the office. So I don't miss the office politics, but having people to bounce off and the banter and the general chit chat and breaking up your day without, I don't have that. So luckily I've got you. Most of the time you're all right, but generally it can be quite a lonely business. So I should imagine if you're trying to do this on your own, you could feasibly get quite lonely, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And going from that as well, I miss the office space. So in mine I would have 2 screens. So going from 2 screens down to 1 screen and a smaller one was a bit of a shock to the system as well.
Yeah, because space for carrying around kit for your work is limited in a van, to say the least. So
Yeah.
little tiny laptops.
Yes.
And no luxuries such as 2 big screens and
No,
whatnot.
that's what I like, the big screens.
Power can sometimes be an issue in the winter. Generally we're okay because we've got a decent solar setup, but you do constantly need to be thinking, have I got enough power available tomorrow morning to carry on doing my work? So that is a thing we have to think about, isn't it? The time difference, you struggled with this one a little bit, didn't you?
I do, yes. And people keep saying to me, especially her, it's only an hour. That hour makes a difference when you've got set hours. It's different for you because you just whenever, but when you've got set hours, and I'd normally start at 8, but then you don't start till 9, yeah, it just throws you all out of sync a little bit.
What she means is when she doesn't finish, when she's supposed to finish at 5, but she doesn't finish till 6, and she has to have her dinner a little bit late.
That's true, I don't like that.
So worth bearing in mind, especially as you go further afield, obviously that time difference gets longer. Accommodating 2 jobs in 1 van. This is something we didn't consider before we started and is actually probably our second biggest issue. Emily, like she's mentioned, is on the phone all of the time. So when I'm trying to edit and she's ranting on the phone for the 4th time that day,
I don't believe
I
rant, actually.
When she's ranting on the phone for the 4th time that day, the same rant that I've already heard, I find it very difficult, even under headphones, to concentrate on what I'm doing.
So I just kick her out the van and she can go off somewhere. But that's not always the case when it's raining.
Yeah, so when it's raining, that then becomes difficult. So quite often I'll find myself twiddling my thumbs for the first 4 hours of the day.
Yeah, and then she annoys me. And I swear to God, as soon as I pick up the phone, she wants something. I wouldn't have done anything for 2 hours beforehand. Phone rings. And I'm like, are you... Yeah.
It's
annoying.
Lies. It's lies. And second to that, again, accommodating the 2 jobs in the van is signal. Now, this is a bigger problem for us in the UK. But very, very often we'll get somewhere really nice, looks great for filming, and we want to share it with you guys, and we go, can't stay, we've got no signal. That's phone signal and internet signal, and we've got an excellent internet setup.
We have, yeah.
And in the UK, that is incredibly difficult. It's easily our biggest problem, driving around, making sure that you've got signal for work, trying to find somewhere nice to park. We also have the dog and the cat, so that does make it a bit more strenuous for us because we have to accommodate those 2.
Yeah, because we want to park up somewhere so that they can get out and so that we can go for a walk. So not necessarily lay-bys are really good for us.
And that's why we tend to try and travel in Europe so much, because signal is just that much easier. And we are taking on some new skills this year to go along with that, because we are always abroad, and you will know on this channel our languages, our ability with language is not great. So we're using Rosetta Stone at the minute to try and accommodate that and push ourselves to learn a new skill this year, being a language.
I've always hated learning languages because it's so academic, but with Rosetta Stone, the learning is immersive, so you're speaking the language straight away.
Les garçons mangent.
Les garçons mangent.
Les hommes boivent.
Les hommes boivent.
So instead of your usual translated lists of words that you have to keep going back and forth, you speak the language from day dot. So you're picking up how to say the words properly, which is what we really like about it, because we have tried in the past and we get over there, and even though I know the words, no one can understand me because I'm saying them. And you'll all remember the when Emily went to buy a pan of chocolate. Have you got any more? So the fact that we're learning it as we go and speaking the words straight away and using the app to pass the little tick checks, using the actual language, is making a huge difference to how quickly we're picking these things up.
It really is, yeah. Je voudrais un pain au chocolat, s'il vous plaît.
Being able to speak other languages is going to be a huge plus for us, because it just means we can converse better with the locals. So in the touristy spots, everyone might speak English, but the minute you get out and about and you want to know where the good park-ups are, where the good signal is, where the proper local shops are, to be able to converse properly
makes a huge difference as well, I think.
Yeah, because you see the country from a different point of view. You're not just seeing it from an English abroad's point of view, you're seeing it from a local's point of view, and it just expands our experience when travelling abroad. So we're going to spend the next week or two heavily practicing so we start to get really comfortable with it before we get out there. And so far, it's easily the best language learning app we've tried so far.
Without a doubt, and especially for me.
Let us know if you're going to be learning a new language and if you're going to give Rosetta Stone a go. And don't miss out on the lifetime subscription. Normally it's £349, but with our link in the description, just go and click on that. You can get it for £179, so a massive saving.
That is a big saving. Give it a go.
Staying connected. So we get a lot of questions about how we manage to stay connected on the road. So we've got quite an expensive setup, but as you can understand, for us, having access to the internet and the phone at all times is vital. So we've got an external booster on the roof. Ours is from a company called Motorhome Wi-Fi. That's then wired down into a router within our van. Inside of that router we have a contract SIM card, so we pay a set amount each month to give us unlimited data abroad. And then inside the van all your devices just hook up to that router wirelessly just like they would indoors. And so far abroad we've only had one time where we've not had signal. In the UK, I've lost count of how many times we've not been able to get a signal. So
Too many.
Yeah, the difference is quite shocking. And then at the minute we use an EE SIM card, and that is for a very specific reason.
It is. So with my type of work, I have to log into a remote server, which is quite a secured server for my company. So a lot of people say, oh, we'll just change networks, change the SIM card, but I cannot do that because for my IT company to be able to set that up, they have to have an admin password. And not all SIM cards like Voxy or Smarty allow you to do that. You have to have a certain SIM card. So if you have a job that you're maybe trying to think about taking remote like mine, and you have to connect to a server, might be one to think about as well. You can't just get random SIM cards.
Yeah, so factor that into your costs. Now we're quite lucky, we're on an old EE contract, so at the minute we're still paying about £30 a month abroad for unlimited. However, they have changed it. It would be £30 plus £2 a day if you're not on the old contract, so still only £90 a month for unlimited internet. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but as you can imagine we need it for our income, so 90 quid isn't so bad, is it? And no. EE so far have been spot on for signal, and on the odd occasion where you struggle, when you get abroad, you can actually go into your router and pick a different network. So if EE's got no signal, I can literally pick Vodafone and it will let me hook up to theirs. So another massive plus for being out in Europe for connectivity.
Yes. So many pluses for that.
So one of the questions we got asked recently at Camp Quirky is how we balance the two. And this is definitely very tricky and probably something that gets neglected when you're thinking, oh, I just want to work on the road. But balancing your work life and your travel is quite difficult, more so probably for you.
Yeah, it is, because like I said, we touched on it earlier about like when you pull up somewhere and you've got an amazing view outside and stuff like that. I think for me, having set hours actually works better, because if I was left to my own devices at certain times when we pulled up, I'd be like, I'll just put that off till later. But with the set hours, it makes me sit down and do what I need to do. And actually, I'm probably more productive because I want to get that done and get as much done in that time as well. So,
which she is very correct, because I fall into the other category and go, wow, this lake's stunning, I'm going to get my kayak out and do nothing for the rest of the day and then have to panic rush to get the job done. So it is important to remember that you are working. So yeah. Work, for us to continue this lifestyle, work has to come first, and then the travel and the content creating, everything else comes second. Actually, the dogs come first, then work, and then everything else after that. But yeah, the balance is hard. Like, trying, especially with the two jobs, trying to accommodate, trying to balance so that your work's happy, you're happy in your work, I'm happy with my job, and we're enjoying the travel. It is tricky, but with practice, we're getting good at it now, aren't we?
We're starting to nail it, I'm telling you.
Yeah, we are getting good at it. And usually we just say, right, we get there, you do your work, we'll go off and enjoy the travel, and then we film afterwards. So that way, everything's kind of accommodated.
It is, yeah.
My final piece of advice, we can't advise you on which jobs to get you on the road, but one thing that has definitely made this 100% easier for us is putting things in place long before we did it. So I hear all the time, oh, in a year's time I'm going to sell the house, buy a van and set up a YouTube channel and go off and work on the road. That is not the way to do it. We set up our YouTube channel long before we even, well, I didn't even think I could quit my job. I thought it was just no chance at all possible, but because it was already in place, the channel was like 18 months old before it became a job, so to speak. So putting those things in place early is definitely a massive plus. And to go alongside of that, it's probably been 6 or 7 years of getting ourselves financially stable so that we can do this. So we do have a house, so our outgoings are probably higher than a lot of people do in van life. We don't want to give up that house, but our house doesn't cost us a fortune, because for 6 years we just pummeled the mortgage. So we overpaid the mortgage for a long time, meaning financially now we've got no debt. So I would advise, if you've got debt, maybe to start getting rid of that, so that your outgoings are as small as they possibly can be, so that you're not, especially if you're going to do the social media side of things, it's very up and down, it fluctuates. So you need to make sure that you're ready for that and preparing as early as you can. A lot of people miss it, and this is our biggest secret to it, and no one's going to like it. It is hard work.
It is hard work, and it takes its toll at times, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah, certainly. It's not like we're just living the easy breezy life. It does take its toll. So I know people think that we're just swanning around having a great life, and we are, and it is absolutely amazing, and we love it, and we wouldn't change a thing. But there's probably, like I say, 6 or 7 years of hard work have gone into getting us here. And we've done our going without prior to van life.
Yes.
So some people go without after van life and are on a very strict budget. We did all our going without previously, so that we could fully enjoy the travel as much as we could, because our pan of chocolate bill alone is ridiculous.
Look, I lived on beans on toast for quite some time.
When we were saving up for the house. So that would be my biggest tip, is to get yourself prepared for it long before you make the leap, because it's just for your own sanity. I wouldn't want our travels to be spoiled by constantly worrying about how I'm going to pay for the insurance next month, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And I think
Waffled on enough, and I feel like we've been too serious. This is just not us, right? This is why I'm nervous about doing things like this, because I'm like, I have to be serious. I have to say this and make sure that all the information comes across, and I'm not good at that.
We've avoided doing this video for quite some time because we kind of feel like, we kind of fluked it, so we don't feel we're best placed to answer it. But then, having spoken to a lot of people over our recent UK trip, it's easily the biggest question, because you're a nosy lot, let's be honest. You just want to get in there and poke around and find everything out.
I'm the same, so don't worry.
So yeah, hopefully you have found this useful. You may have picked up 1 or 2 tips if you're thinking about doing the same yourself. But we can say that we are living our best life right now, aren't we?
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. In the office, they call me Emily Button because I seem to be going back in age and not getting older. That's what they say.
That is it. And we've booked our next trip, so very soon there'll be more travel content coming. And on that note, we'll see you on the other side in a week or so.
The excitement.
Bye.
Bye.